many countries have problems with corruption, including the United States. But when you have those volumes of money that are associated with the drug traffic coming through a relatively, a still developing country like Mexico, it does create enormous distortions in the system. And so in that sense, a trajectory of escalating violence, increasing corruption, a direct challenge to political authority.
Organized crime. This has been, for many years, even documented and brought to your screens through Hollywood movies. So this is not.
But of course, I'm sitting in an air-conditioned studio in Paris. It's easy for me to tell priests in southern Mexico or wherever not to take the money from local drug barons.
Look, in most countries around the world, the huge catalyst that started to clean up this sewage that you see in Mexico was brought up by a unified civil society, a huge civil society movement of the scale that you saw in South Africa with Mandela, or in the US during the civil rights movement, or in Colombia, or in Italy with Mani Pulite, Clean Hands. And Mexico has not started that process. And one civil society unified comes with an agenda of several points to start cleaning up, first of all, politics, because the most organized crime in Mexico is the political system. There's no doubt about that. I document that in my books with hard data. I understand that the ambassador is trying to do his job. He has to show a good, positive face to the world of Mexico. That's what he's been paid for. But I show in my books with hard data that the big organized crime problem in Mexico is politics. And from politics, it goes down to civil society. So until a civil society movement like with Italy, Colombia, South Africa starts cleaning up the system, the electoral system, where 8 to 9 out of $10 going into the electoral system comes from dirty money, from illicit funds. And still civil society moves with the church, pushing that movement behind, you will not see.
And has the church done enough?
No, not at all. You have good, wonderful representatives of the church, like Alejandro Solalinde, like the person that John mentioned a few minutes ago, but those are scattered examples. The leadership of the church in Mexico is highly corrupt. They have been very much hand in hand with political power over the years, and they have been part.
Mexico has done a good job of increasing enrollment rates across all levels of schooling in recent years. At this point, 9 out of 10 children complete primary school, and 9 out of 10 complete the first years of secondary schooling. Preschool enrollments have gone from only 40% in 1991 to almost 80% in 2009. There have also been enormous strides in reducing gender inequality in schooling. On the other hand, Mexico faces a number of challenges in education. Enrollment rates of teenagers between the ages of 15 and 19 is only about 50%, as opposed to an average of 82% in the OECD. There is also a lot of repetition, as almost 40% of primary school students are unable to finish in the usual 6 years' time. 1/3 of all students have to repeat a grade in either elementary or lower secondary school. There are also serious concerns about quality of education and how much students are actually learning. Education can be crucial for raising skill levels and wages, reducing overall inequality, increasing innovation and creativity, and even changing people's preferences about democracy and civic participation. If Mexico wants to compete on the global stage, it needs to get serious about education reform.